Blake Lively, the beloved actress known for her elegant charm and seemingly squeaky clean image, and a former publicist once associated with Justin Baldoni, the courtroom is now the stage where secrets, whispers, and accusations unfold. And the public is eager for every detail. It all began with a confidential legal filing that unexpectedly became public, hinting that Blake Lively had admitted to a judge that she had been in contact with Justin Baldoni's former publicist under circumstances that raised questions about motive, timing, and intent. This revelation did not come in the form of a dramatic courtroom confession, but rather through strategic paperwork, depositions, and behind-the-scenes legal maneuvers uncovered during a separate ongoing case. According to documents filed in Los Angeles Superior Court, Blake Lively was compelled to answer questions regarding her communications with multiple individuals associated with her husband Ryan Reynolds and fellow industry figure Justin Baldoni. The most eye-catching detail, however, was her contact with Baldoni's former publicist, a seasoned media handler who had previously worked on some of Hollywood's most controversial PR campaigns. The legal team representing Baldoni had been in the middle of a high-profile dispute over intellectual property rights concerning a shelved film project allegedly stolen and repurposed by another studio. During discovery, lawyers for Baldoni claimed that Blake Lively was in contact with individuals who could have access to confidential correspondence relating to that case. While Lively denied having any ill intent, her acknowledgement of a working relationship with the former publicist led to a cascade of accusations that she may have been acting as an intermediary or gathering information to support interests outside her official affiliations. At the heart of this case is the complex web of Hollywood relationships where agents, publicists, and legal representatives often navigate overlapping personal and professional ties. In the case of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, tensions had already been simmering following an alleged fallout between their respective teams over creative control and casting decisions. In a project originally slated for joint production, when Blake Lively was subpoenaed to testify, she confirmed under oath that she had exchanged several emails and phone calls with Baldoni's former publicist. In her statement, she claimed the conversations were strictly professional and unrelated to the lawsuit. However, opposing counsel argued that the frequency and timing of the communications indicated otherwise, citing timestamps that aligned with critical developments in Baldoni's ongoing legal challenges. Further complicating the narrative was the publicist's refusal to testify. Debates between fans, defenders, and skeptics. Meanwhile, Lively's team scrambled to manage the fallout, releasing carefully worded statements emphasizing her commitment to ethical industry practices and respect for the legal process. Yet even the most polished PR efforts could not erase the stain left by court documents, suggesting possible subterfuge. Entertainment Tonight-style commentary. To understand the full weight of this revelation, one must look beyond the headlines and consider the cultural persona Blake Lively has cultivated for over a decade. Known for her roles in films like The Age of Adeline and her breakout performance in Gossip Girl, Blake has long been positioned as the darling of modern Hollywood, a fashion icon, philanthropist, and mother with a golden reputation. So when her name appears in legal filings hinting at covert communication strategies, it shapes the carefully built narrative of an actress who has largely stayed clear of scandal. Hollywood insiders have often whispered about the power games played behind closed doors, particularly when it comes to navigating publicity and maintaining image in an age of instant news cycles and cancel culture. Publicists, once seen as behind-the-scenes operators, now play central roles in curating a celebrity's story. They shield, defend, and when needed redirect the narrative. To have a figure as prominent as Lively reportedly linked to back-channel dealings with a publicist now outside the circle of trust adds a layer of intrigue that is hard to ignore. What makes this development especially compelling is its potential connection to wider Hollywood rivalries, involving content creators, producers, and executives all competing for control over streaming content, brand loyalty, and narrative authority. The former publicist in question has remained largely anonymous, but sources close to the case describe them as a fixer, a reputation specialist who once worked closely with stars during moments of career turbulence. To have that person linked to both Baldoni and Lively, even in a tangential way, throws up red flags, particularly when trust, confidentiality, and timing are at stake. And while Blake Lively has not been charged with any crime, the whispers alone have drawn enough attention to cast a long shadow over her current and future projects. Netflix insiders have reportedly begun internal reviews of their casting protocols for upcoming shows involving Lively, though officially no changes have been announced, Warner Bros. 2 is said to be monitoring the situation closely given Lively's connections to legacy franchises under their umbrella. What this means for content creators. Another troubling aspect of this legal entanglement is the reported dragnet approach used by legal teams to identify communications between journalists, influencers, and entertainment YouTubers as part of the discovery process. Subpoenas were allegedly sent to content creators who had reported on or speculated about the Lively confidentiality and the increasing legal pressure being applied to independent voices in entertainment journalism. Popular YouTubers like Andy Senior from Popcorn Planet openly discuss their efforts, warn that such aggressive legal strategies might be intended not just to gather information but to intimidate, discourage, and silence critical voices. It is within this context that Blake Lively's alleged confession takes on an even more provocative tone, not as an admission of guilt but as a revelation that connects her to an ever-expanding web of influence, politics, and power games in modern Hollywood. As the case moves forward, insiders anticipate further depositions, additional filings, and potentially more high-profile names being pulled into the legal fray. For fans and observers alike, the question remains: what was really said between Blake Lively and Baldoni's ex-publicist, and why? Was it harmless chatter about branding strategies, or was it something deeper, more strategic, possibly even manipulative? Conclusion: in the end, the only certainty in this unfolding saga is that Hollywood continues to reveal just how complicated its stories can be when stripped of scripts, costumes, and camera angles. Blake Lively may yet clear her name fully and move on to new projects, but the ripple effects of her involvement in this controversy will linger, casting shadows long after the final court ruling. As fans, media, and fellow celebrities look on, the drama is far from over, and in true cinematic fashion, the final act may still hold more twists than anyone expects.